Hey everyone, and welcome to the finals of the second week of 3v3. This is End All Be All here. Let's jump right in. And today we're facing David Webb, the better general from Alderon's Antiques. And David has a Ray, 4 Zetas only, fully relic, but only 4 Zetas. Not yet got her all the way up there. But let's see if they decide to keep Ray on defense or not. One thing I noticed about my opponent, David, it's relatively recently started investing in their accounts. They don't have as good mods or older characters relicked up or leveled up. For example, they just have a 6-star Malik and a Gear 11 Gas. Their lifetime banners is only 178k, which is not as much, and even their offensive and defensive records are 429 and 151. Not the best, but they do have Ray, and I think they did manage to perform decently. They've won all their matches this week, and they did manage to perform very decently there. But they've traditionally gone very light defense, so I wasn't expecting to see Ray on defense. I think they kept their Ray to take out my Ray on offense. So let's take a quick review of my defenses before we move on. No change there. I've kept my Darth Revan with Basti and Malik on defense like always. Shifted my wet steam forward. I usually keep it in the back. Kept my Grievous over here with the vanilla B1 B2 squad, and kept Nest back under Newt. I think last match I'd experimented a little bit with that. Um, and then down south is where I've kept my Ray. I've kept a Resistance heroes separately because I knew that most likely my opponent might keep their Ray on offense. Um, and it didn't matter what characters I kept on offense. I wanted to stretch their offense thin because they have a very thin roster. And I felt that a very fast 242 speed resistance hero Finn might be more problematic in a separate team than whatever they take in their Ray for. So those two teams I have out there, Resistance, and then I've got my Nightsister Squad, which looks deceptively simple given that it's the couple of G12 characters, but the mods are really well done on this team, and the spirit hits really hard. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. It can catch people unawares. And at the back, I've kept relatively simple teams, but still something which requires something decently heavy to take out. Pre-taunters, fast characters, control characters. That's basically what I have back here. And on defense on ships, I've changed it up a little bit. I've kept my General Kenobi on defense rather than my Malevolence. Kept my Malevolence on offense. My opponent does not have a Malevolence at all, and their own Kenobi is only 5-star. So I think keeping a Kenobi on defense might prove to be a little more problematic. On defense, my opponent has kept, I think almost all of their good teams except for Ray. They've kept that Gas, who's only 6-star G11. All the Zetas do, with two of the weaker 501st, I would say. A Phoenix team, which probably is going to get Wampad. And then they've got their Jedi Knight Revan without Yoda or Kenobi. So it's a low damage version of it, but the Basti is Relic 5, so she might prove to be a little problematic. But otherwise, down south is where they have a couple of tough teams. They've got their EP Malik squad with Basti. Malik, as I said, is only 6-star. So that is not as tanky as the relic versions. And then if they've got a relic Nightsister squad. So let's go ahead and attack the EP squad with my Jedi Knight Revan. And I'm going to go ahead and take I'm going to assume that Ray is not there at the back because whatever teams you need to counter Ray, he's kept on defense. JKR, and then Gas, and even his Darth Revan, his Basti and Malik are all on defense. So I would assume that they've kept their own Ray on offense, which is why I think I feel comfortable using my Jedi Knight Revan over here. I still will save my Gas for the back, but I think this one should be okay over here. I'm going to go ahead and take out Palpatine first, since my Jedi are going to be losing life every time that they go with Palp. Ooh, I should have done the. Why didn't I do the tenacity up? That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Oh yeah, that was a big mistake. That led the 20-meter train rolling. Well, hopefully I should be able to recover. Let's pass this back to this guy. And let's get that some tenacity up over here now. Okay, we resisted the second wave of it. Yeah, that was a big mistake. So Savior has been triggered. Let's go ahead and get rid of this guy as soon as we can. Okay. Yeah, somehow we managed to recover from that. Let's go after Basti. Now the problem is our Savior has been exhausted and our Jolee is pretty low. So I am going to have to get rid of Basti fast before this team proves to be more problematic. Okay, luckily this team has got plenty of survival power. So now the two main damage dealers are gone. Despite the mistake that I made, we have managed to recover from it and have managed to get through this team. Banners are not important. I think it'll come down to whoever one-shots the other person's board. So I'm not too worried about banners at this stage, but yep, there was a very big misplay that I did at the beginning. Always when you go against EP Basti teams, whether it's with Malik or another tank like Sith Trooper, always put tenacity up and foresight with Grandmaster Yoda. That's a must. Let's go ahead and take out some of the other teams against the crew team. So that's very weird. The crew is R7, but the rest of them are only G12. I'm going to take in my JTR against it. I'm going to go in with the R2D2 and just control them and try to save crew for the end. And he doesn't even have his, oh god, he doesn't even have his second Zeta. I could have probably taken something lesser for that, but that's fine. Let's start working on the first order executioner. Got him out. Let's do some burning. Excellent. Expose has been applied. Let's do this for now. Yeah, I can't understand how you can get character to R7, not even give him as best Zetas. Okay, managed to get stun over there. Let's just reduce some turn meter and let's work down on Kylo since he's only G12, and then we can start working down on the other Kylo after this. Let's do a stun. Not yet. All right, let's keep working and working our way into Illuminated Destiny. I think we should be able to get one off, which should be able to top our characters off. And this one is, I believe, modded for protection, not for health, which is why once it might take a little while to get through the protection, but once we get through that, it should be smooth sailing. But it looks like we have recovered full health and full protection on everyone. Let's go ahead and finish it off. Yeah, Crew is a great character, but he definitely needs his second Zeta. I think given that my opponent is a more relatively newer player, or they might have invested the Zetas in the Resistance characters, maybe since they were going for Rey, they might not have invested heavily into the First Order faction. But then you would assume that they wouldn't Relic 7 their crew if they're not willing to invest in them all the way. Okay, 54 banners over there. And then for the Nightsister Squad, so I don't think they've got any other Nightsister Squad at the back because both the Revivers, Zombie as well as Daka are in the same squad. So and I think that Asajj is well built, good damage. So we would need to take her out fast. Critical damage, offense and speed. So we would need to take her out fast. But then once we take her out, there are two ways to revive. So I think we need to have a permanent solution for Asajj. So I think I'll take in my own bounty hunters with the Django lead. considering whether to take Grief or not, but Grief is going to have stealth at the beginning. Asajj can dispel, so we'll need to ability block her. But I think this team can get the job done, especially with the permanent kill from Django. And my bounty hunters are relatively fast. So let's do a ability block so that Asajj doesn't dispel Grief. And let's start working on her. Alright, this should take care of Asajj. Not yet. Let's keep working on her. What does this do? Retribution and recover some health. I don't want to call everyone to assist. Let's just do this. Let's do this. Asajj is hitting extremely hard, and there goes Grief. Maybe it was a mistake to get him. Maybe Dengar would have been more useful. He remains in permanent stealth always. Let's see if this can't get rid of Asajj. Man, that Asajj hits really hard. Okay, we at least got our Bounty Hunter's Resolve back. And this should get Bounty Hunter's Resolve on this guy as well. So we lost Grief, which was unfortunate. We should have probably gone with the Dengar or somebody like that. But it was one shot at least. I didn't want to take anything heavy like Padme or something. I wanted to save all of that to see what's at the back. Oh, they have kept their they have kept their Rey at the back. Oh, that's a nice surprise. Well, that means they're not getting through any of my zones. Probably not even one zone, because I have kept some heavy teams out here and they don't have their Darth Revan, JKR or Rey. Alright, so the rest of this video is going to be a voiceover, given that I had multiple battles against the rest of his team, just given that his defense was so strong. So I decided to go after Rey first, because even though I would have gotten more points if I had attacked the top zone, I decided to go for Rey first because I really wanted to be able to get Rey down and get some practice in, because I knew my opponent wasn't going to clear a single zone of mine, and I decided to use the Han method to get down Finn fast rather than the burnout team method. The burner team method is one way to go about it, but in this method what you do is you take your CLS Han Chewie and you get down Resistance Hero Finn as soon as possible. So here Rey does the whirlwind, but you still have Han and CLS surviving, so you just manage to get a few big hits out on Resistance Hero Finn, get him out, then your team dies, but then the cleanup is much easier when you go in with your Jedi Knight Revan gas counter after that. So that's the main purpose of the initial team with CLS Han Chewie, is just to get Finn down. And now you see I taken my gas squad, and since I didn't have JKR was using the front wall. That was again another unfortunate thing. So I took Basti, because Basti lead also gives some offense up as long as this guy has bonus protection. And I took Thrawn in there. Thrawn to apply the fracture, and then I tried to get Poe down at this stage, given that the Rey was fractured and Gas had plenty of offense. So there you can see Poe is down before before the fracture expires. I'm just trying to work my way down with the Rey, and I know that and the whirlwind is going to come up. And if I had my JKR in there, Gas would have survived the whirlwind because the Savior would have triggered. But unfortunately, because it was not JKR, I lost my gas. Otherwise, this would have been a two-shot if JKR was the lead instead of Basti. But as you can see over here, the battle really won't go anywhere else. So in the second battle, I just managed to get down Poe. First battle was Finn, second battle was Poe, and now it looks like I might just have to go in and clean up with something else. Basti has some advantages because you can apply ability block with the basic and delay out Rey a little bit so that she can't use a whirlwind. But if you haven't had a chance to apply ability block, then then she gets to use her whirlwind, and you really don't go anywhere. So what I did at this stage was I knew that this Basti by herself is not going to get Ray down, given that she's got like tremendous amounts of health. So I just decided to get her to use the whirlwind, the it's the lifeblood ability, and then time out. So that's what I did. I timed out, and then I took in my Shakti clones in there, Echo and Arc. These guys really hit hard, and decided to focus down on her. Especially if you've exhausted Thrawn, you need hard hitting characters to go in and focus down on Rey. And the clones, especially with the Mass Assist and the offense boost that they get under Shakti lead, they do a pretty decent job in taking Rey down. So I won't show all the other matches that I had, given that most of them are pretty straightforward, nothing new. But this particular one I really wanted to showcase. It's again using my Aura Sing with Mando team, where I had a slow tenacity build Nest that I wanted to see if I can take down. This is again a timeout team with some decent amount of damage because Nest does counter and daze. But as you can see over here, I'm trying to get my contract out as soon as possible, and try to see if I can annihilate someone. Now over here, Nest did manage to get days out, which sucks because Mando really can use uh, turn meter gain with his unique. But and over here again, second setback was Mando got taken out once by Nest, which means that even if I get the contract, I might not be able to target Nest if L3 is taunting. So that was again unfortunate. If my Mando was a little beefier, then I would have been able to take out Nest right over there. But anyway, I managed to take out L3 and then worked down on Kira, and now only Nest is left. All we need to do is wait for Mando's uh, disintegrate ability to come around again, and then Mando should be down. Nest should be down. So then we're just waiting our time. The cooldown is about 8, but I think every time he uses crits, it gets reduced. The cooldown gets reduced by a little amount. So trying to do what I can to take Nest down. I really can't stun her with Aura Basic because she's a tenacity build Nest. As you can see over here, the cooldown is reduced to almost 2 now, and by next turn we should have it. Um, and There we go. The disintegrate is here. It's a very simple job, just taking care of Nest, and this is a good budget team to basically take care of high tenacity, high survivable, high revive teams like that. Then the Jedi Knight Revan team posed to be a problem because even though there was no Grandmaster Yoda, there was this team did tons of damage, and my Treya wasn't able to take care of it. I took in my Padme. I thought that Padme will be more survivable, which was true. Padme did survive all the way till the end, but because of the fact that so much of buff immunity was applied by both Basti as well as Jedi Knight Revan, undispellable buff immunity in the case of Jedi Knight Revan, that I just wasn't able to build up enough courage to take any of these guys down. So I unfortunately timed out with my Padme team, which was a big waste because this team is an offensive powerhouse. Um, and to be fair, this team is tough. The team on defense, Basti is Relic 5, I think. Jedi Knight Revan is Relic 7, and Jolee is Relic 5 again. So very tough survivable team. So I needed to take in something heavy against it. I decided to and I didn't have anything much left given that I'd exhausted most of my meta teams against Ray. So I thought I might not be able to get through this team, but I decided to take in Rex lead with the fives and Watt. Now Watt gave the weapons tech to Rex, which means that he'll end up going extremely fast and going quite often. Every time the enemy moves, he gains 15% turn meter, apart from gaining turn meter on crits because of his lead. And you can see over here the Rexilate ability is out, but that does trigger Savior. So even though I was able to Rexilate Jolee, he did revive back. So now the question is, with the boost that Fives has given to his health and protection, can Rex survive enough to get a couple more Rexilates out? So that's what I'm trying to do over here, just trying to work down on this team bit by bit. And the Rexilate comes across pretty quick, and I get rid of Jedi Knight Revan just in case Rex dies and I'm not able to finish a team. I can at least go back in with a cleaner team, and without JKR lead, they should be easier. But I'm surprised to see that Rex does manage to survive quite a bit, and the second Rexalate is out, so I go ahead and take care of Basti because Jolee doesn't really have any damage, so I can always get the third aerial advantage ability out pretty quickly. And you can see over here, Rex was able to do a decent job with the health boost that Fives gave, and the weapon stick. He was able to do a decent job in getting that team out. So that was a pleasant surprise because I wasn't sure I would be able to clear that JKR. But the rest of the battles over here are pretty straightforward. This one is a First Order versus Karth battle, which again, pretty straightforward. Nothing much to see there. And I took in my let's see, the next battle I believe I took in against the Ewoks. I took in my Resistance Squad, the Relic Tub Resistance. These Ewoks are just G11, so nothing much to worry about. And my Resistance, just the Relic levels on my Resistance make sure that these guys are survivable enough, and they apply enough stuns and damage to get the job done. And then finally over here I took against the Droid Squad over here, I took Hermit Yoda with old Ben lead and Ahsoka. Ahsoka primarily because of basic dispels, and I needed the dispel against Droidica. So this team took a little while, but was able to get it down without any problem. There's tons of survivability that Hermit Yoda gives to Jedi, and there's tons of evasion over here as well. So this team was done. The rest of the teams, and then Gas was the other main team left, and I didn't think I really had anything left for Gas, so I tried out a bunch of teams to try to get his protection down. And even though it was a G11 Gas 6-star, Gas's lead itself is he had about 60-70k protection, and I had only very weak characters left, so I really wasn't able to make any progress versus Gas over here. So this was unfortunate. I think I was able to get Ahsoka down, but I really wasn't able to clear the rest of the Gas team. So in the end, I was able to get the overall victory against David Webb. I got 1856. The only team I wasn't able to take down was the Gas team, and my opponent wasn't able to clear a single zone of mine. The bottom section, they did not even attempt. They just had no offense left. There was the Rey and the Resistance heroes with Finn and the Nightsister team down below. On top, they did attempt. I think they threw all their meta teams against my Darth Revan and my Grievous to try to take down what I had. I think they threw their Darth Revan, they threw their Padme, Treya, CLS, and Shakti against my Darth Revan team, and finally took down Malak towards the end. And then they took their own Grievous and JTR against my General Grievous squad. So 6 battles and 4 battles against those, and then wasn't able to get the other 2 teams down. They did reach out to me on chat, and we chatted briefly about that. I congratulated them on the nice defense, and they said that they did have they could have cleared my Rey if I hadn't kept my DR, but I don't know. I don't see how that is possible given that they didn't have Gas or their own Rey on offense. If you guys know of a way to take down Rey without Gas or a GL, let me know down in the comments. So that's it for this week for Grand Arena. A pretty satisfying week. My defense was able to hold all 3 times. None of my opponents were able to clear me. In fact, out of the 12 zones of defense that I set, only 3 zones were cleared in all the 3 matches. So that was good to see. And all my 3 opponents had their own Galactic Legends as well. Only one of them kept it on defense, and I was glad I was able to take it down, at least that team on defense. But the other 2 kept it on offense and still weren't able to clear my board. So that was good to see. So that's it for the second week. We've got a third and fourth week coming up. Looking forward to that. Hope to face some more really good opponents in those matches. I believe the lock should be happening in shortly, and we'll get to see who we are facing for the next week. So join me again in a couple of days when we face our next opponent. Until then, happy gaming and stay safe.